What's up, guys? Welcome to Tuesday Night Studio Sessions. My name is Sean. I'll be your host. I went live and nothing happened. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to check YouTube real quick and see if I am actually live. It's saying nobody's here. So I'm not sure what's going on. It might be a glitch in StreamYard. So we're going to just check that out and see what's going on. It says that I'm live on YouTube. So we'll see what goes on. I am going to check it out. Looks like there's 3 people here. And there's some good chatting going on. Everybody's saying hello to each other right off the bat. That was good. Played my whole intro. So it looks like we are officially live, so that's good. So I guess we should just skip the countdown and go right into it. I was hanging out with my countdown all by myself, thinking I was live, and I wasn't. Started talking, intro the show, looked up, and it said, "Hey, you want to go live yet?" So we're live now. Welcome to the show. January 19th. Another live stream in the books today. So what we're going to talk about is I've rearranged my office, moved my microphone. So let me know if you guys can hear me okay or if I need to adjust my audio. There's a little blue thing in the background. It's driving me nuts. There. That's way better. But yeah. I decided, so I don't know what I said and what I didn't, so I'm going to kind of start over. Maybe we should do a little intro just so we know that the show's actually started. Here we go. What's up, y'all? Sean here. Hope y'all are having a wonderful night. We're going to talk about drones tonight. I have been a flyer for about 5 years. According to an FPV channel that I hung out on a couple weeks ago, I'm an operator, not necessarily a flyer, because the drones that I've been flying or operating for a while, they go to a spot and then they stop, and then I tell it to go to another spot. But if I get in a pickle, I can just let go of the sticks and my drone will stop. And that's kind of what I've taught for the last 4 years. Just go into it slowly, stay away from things that you're about to hit, and you'll work it out. FPV, not so much. I picked FPV every year. I pick a new focal point to kind of grow and strengthen my knowledge every year, and hopefully strengthen your knowledge. So this year I picked FPV because I thought it would be pretty easy on the budget. But man, I feel like I'd destroy a battery every week. There's some drones back there. Let's see if you guys can see them. I've got the DJI Mavic Air 2, I've got the Paradanafi, and I've got the Autel Evo 2. And all of those drones, I have no issue charging the batteries. The batteries don't die on me. They're awesome. And all of those companies have spent some time making batteries work well. Okay? That's kind of why I'm so excited about the news of a DJI FPV drone, because the air unit is like the binding experience on the air unit and the headset and the controller is pretty much the push of a button. That I'm hoping they come out with a battery solution for their FPV drone that is a little bit more solid and not as fragile as these LiPo batteries I'm buying. When I went into this hobby, I was like, man, this is going to be so much fun. I'm going to learn a new skill. You know, I'm going to just hit the ground running with this FPV drone world. And there are some things that are really, really advanced, really cheap flight controllers. And, you know, I love the idea of, you know, you can just buy whatever. It's like putting a computer together. You buy, you know, all these little components and you put them together and all of a sudden you have a drone that flies through the sky. But nowadays it's like we're in 2021 and I feel like LiPo batteries and charging, everything to do with the battery system it's like I'm back in the 80s. Like I'm going to buy a battery at Radio Shack or something. I want a smart LiPo is what I want. 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S, whatever series battery it is. I want it to be smart, and I want a smart charger, and I want my drones to turn off before the battery is too low to ever be used again. I have 3 new batteries that I have destroyed within the last 2 weeks. And they're like $25 a pop. So very quickly, my budget is getting to the point where this is a hobby that I don't know if I can afford. But something else that's always been frustrating with me as a drone flyer is flying. You know, in the wintertime, it's hard to fly because it's like Nashville's in a valley, and it's really, really hard to, excuse me. It's really, really hard to fly in the winter because the wind is so strong this time of year. We don't get a lot of snow, but we get a lot of really bad storms. Stephen Drones asked if I sold my Typhoon H Plus. I have not sold my Typhoon H Plus, but I'm about to. And we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. It's one of those drones that I spent a lot of money on and never really, really flew much. So I like flying it when I fly it, but I don't know that I'm going to keep it. If I was a photographer or a videographer as my day job, then it's something that I would definitely keep. But the time has passed to put it on the channel, to do some really good videos with it. So I am planning on selling it. And that's that. Especially because the only reason I was keeping the Typhoon around was to carry a payload. And the only reason I wanted to carry a payload is, you know, to do stabilization tests on small cameras. But that little yellow guy in the back, once I learn how to fly it, I'll be able to carry an action camera. I'll be able to carry, you know, 360 camera, and I'll be able to make really cool videos with that. Okay. As well as the DJI Mavic Air 2. I've got a mount that I can hang cameras from that, which is kind of what I did at the beginning of the channel. And the reason I moved into the Typhoon H was so that I could carry something more safely. But with those little tiny whoops, you know, that's a smaller whoop. I can get a bigger whoop that can handle a bigger camera. So once I learn how to fly those things, I'll be good. So Eat More Possum asks, how am I destroying my batteries? So when I fly a GPS drone, any of those drones that are right behind me, when I turn the drone off, the battery stops draining. But flying these FPV drones, like there's no power button on these drones. You plug the battery in and it starts working. And so I keep forgetting to unplug it when I turn it off. So apparently what I did was, so first battery, we all know the balance lead fell down into the blades and shattered. So I threw that battery away. Second battery, I was updating the firmware on my drone and or updating the firmware on my goggles and my remote, and I was binding and left the battery on, and it discharged too low, and now it's unsafe to charge it. And then over the weekend, I flew. I'll show you my flight here in a minute. I decided to fly with the GoPro Hero Session 5 on it so I could get some 4K footage. Just wanted to test it with some weight, but I wanted to use an old camera that I never use anymore, just in case. You know, we've seen me destroy cameras on drones before. So I put, I crashed and I broke the case. I broke the cage for my GoPro Session. So I was distracted by that. And it was cold, like my fingers were numb. And so I just put everything in the bag and went home, and I didn't even open it up till the next day. And I opened up the next day and I saw the battery still connected to the drone. And I was like, oh, there's another battery. So I got 2 more batteries coming in. But I got to start buying those batteries in bulk or something, because I can see why beginners get really frustrated with this hobby. Some people told me not to buy a bind and fly off the bat, to build it myself. But I thought if I got frustrated building it, I'd never get out there and fly it. So I'm trying to learn how to fly. And I got this Cinewhoop is an awesome drone. Don't get me wrong, but there are some parts of the technology that are still just in the ice ages. These lipos are fragile and they're finicky. And I feel like I need to, like, instead of doing a pre-flight check, I need to do a lipo check all the time to make sure, like, I don't know what to do, but they're draining really low, and you can't charge them when they're below a certain amperage or voltage or whatever. So Even More Possible says, true, I get distracted flying and forget to notice the voltage alarms. I don't know that I have a voltage alarm. It's got a buzzer on it. It's always beeping, but I don't know what the beep means. I was assuming the beeping was that it lost connection to the remote, because I don't think the goggles matter. I think because you don't even have to use goggles to fly it. So I don't think it buzzes whenever it and all the goggles do. The goggles are a receiver of the video feed, so they don't really talk back and forth to the drone. They're really just pulling a signal out of the air. Well, actually, the air unit probably does talk to the goggles. I take that back, because there's telemetry bouncing back and forth and stuff like that. So yeah, just trying to figure all that stuff out. These things don't come with manuals either. I'll show you a drone that I just got. I got the Mobula 7 HD, so I could record some HT video inside the house while it's wintertime. And I've had it for 2 days. I still don't know how to get the thing to work. They gave me this this piece of paper that has, it was like a copy of a copy of a copy, so you can't read any of it. So I got to find a manual online, like a crystal clear PDF somewhere. There's nothing that tells it where to bind. I have no idea where to put the SD card. I can't find it anywhere. So I don't know if it takes an SD card or if it has just an onboard DVR and you have to plug it up to the USB. I'm not sure what's going on there. So anyway, it's one of those things, and I'm also really stressed at work, so I can't. It's hard. Even though I had a day off this week, I really didn't want to deal with anything. I just kind of wanted to relax. All right. So Eat More Possum says, I've chopped up a couple of balanced leads, but soldered new ones on, taking care not to short them out. I don't know that I feel comfortable with that right now. Last time I soldered something was in college. I will probably buy a soldering gun and figure all this stuff out at some point, but I don't know that I want to solder something that could blow up in my face. This is where the money is. This is gold right here. This face is worth, like, my value is like $60 a month on YouTube. It's where this gold is. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. With something I bought. I don't remember what I bought. Maybe it was a battery or something. And I got a Velcro strap. And so I've been using that, 2 Velcro straps. One just to hook the lead down. But yeah, man, it's crazy. I am not a fan. And I said that on your Instagram post over the weekend where you showed me a box of lipos, and I was just like, man, like, getting the drone is not the expensive part. It's all these batteries you chew through. So I've got to get that down. So you should have battery voltage in OSD. Is that on-screen display? Are you talking about the voltage? Yeah, I'm pretty good at landing whenever the voltage is low. That's not a problem. It's forgetting to unplug the stupid battery. I wish these drones came with power switches. Maybe I'll build this power switch, like a little power switch in between the battery and the connector. Maybe I'll make millions with that. Nacho's laughing at me, talking about my gold. Stephen Jones is laughing at me. Oh no! You chopped up your SMO 4K wire? Was that the little wire that, like the power lead? Is that the only wire that sticks out of the... I feel like that's the only thing that sticks out of the SMO 4K. Because you're not looking through the SMO 4K. You're just sitting on your drone, pretty much. So my next goal is to figure out Betaflight. I don't know anything about Betaflight, or the little... I think there's an app that comes on your phone for Betaflight. So that's kind of the next step, is trying to figure out how to bind these drones. And that's another thing. All these little bind and fly drones. This is the new guy. This is one I'm super excited about because it's tiny. This one flies 2S and 3S batteries. And I believe I can also fly a 1S battery, but I'm not sure if I can switch to the 1S profile. It records, so it has one camera on it. It's a Caddx Turtle, I think. And the camera itself records in 1080 at 60 frames per second, but it also pushes an analog feed to the goggles that's like probably 480 or something. But it does all of that from this one camera. So I can fly this analog through the house with crappy video in my goggles, but once I get it done and put it in the computer, I've got a 1080 recording of that flight as well. So that's something that I would put up on YouTube. I don't want to put, I'm not big on these analog videos of FPV flying. If it's all I got, it's all I got. But I wanted to get something that could record 1080. I wanted to get something that had a soft top, so when I hit the ceiling, it'd be okay. I wanted something with brush guards all around the side, so when I hit walls, the blades aren't digging into my drywall. And I wanted something that could rip outside whenever I get better, but also something that I could control inside as well. So that's what this little guy is. And I'm working from home, so there'll be days that I can take my lunch break and just fly around the house. So that's what this is for. But I watched a video on where the bind button was, so I looked for the bind button. I can't find it. So anyway, it's just like I feel like I'm out on this island and I don't know what I'm doing at all. And hopefully I'll learn it good enough so that I can teach you guys how to do it. I know Eat More Possum flies FPV. He knows what he's doing already. So I'm just trying to figure this out. So Eat More Possum unintentionally took off in acro mode and promptly hit the post, also breaking the ND filter. Oh, so you don't have a spare. Did it come with multiple filters that screw on the front, or was that the only one? So now you've got a bare lens. And then Steven Drones, yes, that little drone will blow everywhere in the wind. So I've got to pick a day that, if I fly it outside, it's got to be a day with no wind. And even those days with no wind, if I fly around buildings and stuff, even a slight breeze will build up momentum when it hits a building. So yes, it is a tiny little drone, but I've seen a lot of people fly them outside. I watched this one video that was awesome. It had, I don't know if it was the Mobula 7, but maybe it was the Mobula 6. But this guy flew it from inside his car. His wife was driving, and he was sitting in the passenger seat. And he told his wife to roll the windows down. And so he would like fly all around. They were like driving through the neighborhood, and he'd fly around and he'd keep looking at the car and then fly up. And he had like a sunroof, so he like basically took the drone and put it on top of his car, and then took off. And there was this one at the very end of the video. He was like, "Roll down the back window," and so he flies in the back window and lands on the dashboard. It's so cool. I definitely don't have the control at all for that, but yeah, I think the wind would definitely blow it around. But I see people flying all around their yard and stuff like that, so I'm really excited when I get that good. I've got a really tall roof, so I've already got my tiny whoop stuck on the roof, just because I flew straight up and then it just blew on the roof, and that was my whole flight. You can still see in the goggles, like I was looking at a tree, so I had to like figure out where that tree was in my yard and look at the roof and figure all that out. So Eat More Possum says the SMO 4K also comes with a UV filter that also gave up the ghost. Man. All right, so now you need to 3D print a, what are those called? What are those called? Like a sunshade, like an FPV sunshade that sticks out of the front, so it blocks your lens from hitting anything. I think we talked about this, Brent, but does yours corrupt the footage if you unplug it? I feel like you said that. I saw Kim Heron had an issue with his. That's another thing. Like all these things are like plugged into each other. So if any one thing fails, like you pull the power before you stop the record button, it just goes away. All right. Eat More Possum says there's a new ND filter for $15. Awesome. And Nacho says it's called a shroud. That thing that goes on the front. I'm not digging my hair tonight. I apologize, guys. Oops. So Brent confirms you have to stop recording first. So I thought I would show you guys my flight this week. I flew with so I have a GoPro Hero Session, which is like 2016 technology. Maybe even 2015. It's probably a 2015 camera. But it was my favorite form factor that GoPro put out, is this little cube. This is a full-on 4K GoPro camera. What I love about it is its ease of use. It doesn't have a screen on it. Stabilization is okay. Definitely has improved a lot. But back then, stabilization was amazing. It's got a tiny little LED on the top and a record button. And you hit the record button, and it just starts recording. Now, I don't have an SD card in it, so that's why it gave some extra beeps. But I'm going to turn this off with the power button. But it's a tiny little camera. It probably weighs like 2 or 3 pounds. I don't know. I mean, it's beef. Like this is crammed full of stuff. There's no air in this thing. But I flew around with that, and I also put an SD card in my headset, my Google goggles. What? I also put a SD card in my DJI goggles and recorded from my goggles. So which do you guys want to see first? Do you want to see the footage from the goggles, or do you want to see footage from the GoPro? I'll let you guys vote. Stephen Drone says he thinks he will stick with his H+. Yeah. It's a good drone. It's just I have purchased so many drones that I can't fly any of them anymore. So Nacho says that the Session is 74 grams, which equals what? 2.6 ounces. Okay, so I said 2 to 3 pounds. That was way off. So Stephen Drone says the GoPro. We got any more takers? So Nacho said that it's half the weight of the Hero. What is a naked GoPro? Looks like everyone wants to see the GoPro footage. So, Nacho, you're looking up facts for me right now. How much does a naked GoPro weigh? Just curious. That might be based on the case. I don't know. Or maybe we could just look up what the SMO 4K weighs. I feel like that's a stat that's pretty easy to find. All right, y'all ready? While Nacho looks that up, here is the GoPro footage. Now you'll see that the footage from the GoPro is not like the vibration. It sees every vibration. So I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so the entire GoPro. We're playing. Yep. So the GoPro Session weighs 74 grams, and the naked GoPro is 94 grams. So this GoPro Session weighs less than the naked GoPro. Yeah, Nacho, the mount, the actual GoPro mount part that iFlight sent me is TPU. Oh, that's another thing that was horrible this week. Was I got some TPU? Oh, here we go. I got some TPU in the mail, and my 3D printer back there won't print TPU. So that was a good time. But this is straight from the GoPro. It's kind of okay, but I think I cracked my my mount right there, because you see, like, all of a sudden there's like a black thing around it when I hit the ground. So I think I cracked the mount right there, and that's why there's so much jello in this flight. So I'm actually really surprised that the GoPro made it back to me. There's my butt. Flew over my head. Thought I was going to give myself a haircut right there. But I was really excited about the flight. It was super windy. So this thing can handle some wind. So that was good to see. But you can see how it's bouncing. I think my camera is just bouncing around in there. And while you guys are watching that, I'll go get it. That's what it looks like now. I mean, this cage is super fragile. There are all these open holes so that you can push on things. And I think the GoPro Session has a heating issue, overheating. So that's why all this air is around it. So that's what happened. But the part that's right here is TPU, so it has a little bit of flex. But there's me getting all dizzy. But it was a lot of fun. Nacho wants strawberry banana. That'd be nice. So this is me getting a little bold, getting pretty close to the grass. I can't tell if this is like swampy area or like the grass is really tall. And there's a nice trail back there to the left. But I barely hit those. I almost hit those trees going over them. And this is probably about, maybe I probably flew like maybe 200 yards out. It's about as far as I flew. But when I go back and watch this, I look at some of the footage and I'm leaning forward. So I bet there's going to be a day coming soon where I just fall flat over. I noticed that when I do VR as well. Actually, I think VR really helps me for this experience. I put myself in a lot of situations where I'm not in control of my, like what I see is not the same as the motion that my body's going through. But I can see, if I hadn't done any VR, I could see how this would be very, take a little bit getting used to. So I'm getting pretty successful at keeping it up in the air. There were some times that kind of scared me. I think this is, maybe not, but I think I'm about to come up on myself, and I thought I was going to hit myself, so I went right and then slammed into the hay. But that GoPro is still hanging on with every bounce off the ground. But yeah, it was not a pretty day. I mean, it was a cold, wintry day. And you can tell how crappy this part of the yard or part of the field looks like, but the colors actually are really good. Like if you look at the blue sky back there and the green baseball field, the colors are actually really good. I just happened to be flying on a really ugly field. And this is where I flipped it. And that's when I thought I broke it. But when I go back and watch this footage, I'm pretty sure that I cracked the GoPro right at the beginning. And we can get here's me picking it up. And you'll see when I pick it up that it's definitely broken. Nacho says he's loving the Quest. That's awesome. I love my Quest. There's me trying to walk with my goggles. The other thing I don't like about the DJI goggles is the strap. I can't walk and keep the strap, like it just falls in, falls off my nose or whatever. So here's like a close-up shot of the GoPro cage that is just holding on pretty much. And that's it. That's it for that video. So now this is what the DJI goggles saw. This is a 1080 video. So, and it's 4x3. So Nacho said to epoxy it. I've already bought I've already 3D printed 3 different mounts for my session. So I think I'm good now. There actually has been a lot of people, that have put the GoPro Session on their iFlight Bumblebee, and the Green Hornet has the same layout, screw layout. So I've already printed several. This is one that I'm excited about, but I don't think it fits. But it's got this kind of front protector shroud. I also printed this one that I haven't taken all of the supports off and the raft and stuff. I got to tell you also, this printer back here, the Adventure 3, if you don't have a raft and you don't have supports, it prints amazing. But if you have any kind of design that needs supports, the supports don't pop off like the Flash Forge Finder used to. So this one definitely has a stronger print. They're more solid lines, but I think there's going to be a little extra finishing that I've got to do, and some of my rafts don't even come off. Like I have to pry them off with, like, stick a screwdriver down in them and hit it with a hammer and bust them off and stuff. All right. So this is the flight with recorded from the goggles. And I'll have you notice, like, I don't know if this is a thing, and I haven't done much research on it, but the field of view, like the view in the middle is crispier than the outside edges. So I don't know if that's a thing, if the resolution in the middle of the screen is better than the resolution on the edges, or if it's because of the type of lens that's on it. But I thought the colors turned out really nice, especially in that shot right there. And you can see I'm kind of leaning forward. So if I do this for very long, I'm probably going to have some neck issues. But yeah, this is the exact same flight, recorded from. So if I didn't even have an extra camera on my iFlight, this is what I would get. Footage stays pretty well. I wish it would have captured the telemetry too, so you guys could see that. Amazon just delivered 20 SMO power leads. That's awesome. So you've got 20 more wrecks in you. I will say it is very fun. Especially like going and exploring. And I like how solid this drone is. Like I've had other drones that one wreck will just destroy the drone. They've got these fragile arms on them. They've got, props. You always need to buy extra props. You're going to clip a prop on something. Some props even crack over time of just, use. But overall, the video footage is pretty clear. Now, just a reminder, if I had an SD card in the drone, it would have taken better footage because it wouldn't, like right now, I'm basically getting a signal through the airwaves and recording that signal. So I'm probably recording 720 here. Whereas if I see right there, it's crisp in the middle and blurry on the edges. And then Eat More Possum says the edge fizziness may be due to the focus mode in the settings. Haven't verified that yet. And then wind can contribute to jello. So the other thing that might have contributed to jello is that I had a GoPro sitting on top that was just bouncing around. It was like one of those little metal balls in spray paint that you shake up and you hear that little metal ball stirring things up. There I got a little risky. I started flying pretty fast. I feel like I saw maybe the battery was getting low or something, so I wanted to come back. Oh, no, I know what that was. That was the wind pushing my drone. Now I remember. Like, there was at one point, it was right there. And this footage looks pretty good now that the sun's out a little bit. But when the wind hit it, it was like pushing my drone. So right there, I had to make sure it didn't just slam right into the ground. Nacho said that would jello less. Are you talking about the GoPro bouncing around on top? I feel like any vibration would cause some jello. But but I feel like the weight would kind of keep it from bouncing around a little bit more. That's another thing. All these batteries are different shapes, so you've got to like distribute the weight evenly. So that was that wreck. And that was it, y'all. So that was my week in FPV, and right now I'm dead in the water until Friday when I get 2 more batteries in. So Nacho says that tightness transfers more jello. I agree with that. But I guess what I'm saying is the GoPro bouncing around on top of the drone is actually causing more vibration on the entire drone. And the camera we just watched was coming from the DJI Air unit. So basically all I'm saying is my drone bouncing around because the cage was broken was probably causing the drone to do a lot more compensation. That's all I'm saying. So that is that. I want to move on to a couple things. There's 3 of you in here, and you all probably already know this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway because there's about 50 or 60 people that watch my live stream after it happens. So this is for those folks. So I want to point you guys to SeanHydeStudios.com. I am still in the process of bringing this website up to speed. My goal is the end of January to have every video that I've ever done on this channel, on this website, to have descriptions, to have camera descriptions, so that it's something that's, when someone searches Insta360 ONE, I want my website to pop up and for them to come here to find out information about it, to watch videos that I've done, that kind of thing. I'm planning on changing my logo because I don't like the fact that Studios is different than Sean Hyde when it's a horizontal logo. So I might just switch that to just plain text. But yeah, so there are 3 segments to my website. There is YouTube videos, which is what we do on this channel. We make YouTube videos. There's shirts and stuff, which is gear. Stephen Drones, I haven't forgotten about you. I saw an email that you sent me of something that you would like on a shirt. I can't put that on a shirt and put it in my shop, but I can put that on a shirt and send you a private link to it, and then you can get it from that. Okay? So I can't publicly put that anywhere, but I can definitely send you a private link. So maybe we can work out something where, maybe even something specific you want written on the shirt. You do like Stephen Drones or, whatever you want to put on that shirt. We can probably do that privately. But because it's a straight up, it was drawn by someone else. Now I can recreate it and make it different, and probably go across that, but I can't really straight up copy something that like marketing material from someone else. So I haven't forgot about you. It's just been a long week. Okay. But I just want to show you guys these video. If you go to the YouTube video section of my website, you'll be able to go through and see every video that's on my YouTube channel. There'll be different playlists and stuff like that. If you go to shirts and stuff, this is where I create merchandise. For those of you that don't know, I'm a graphic designer. So So this is where I will be putting different designs that I make. Right now, I'm doing more of this flat icon type shirt design. Here's iFly Whoop. Here's iFly Quad. And then we've got hexacopter merchandise and all that kind of stuff. So if you buy something off of the channel or something off of this page, it really helps the channel, and you'll have something cool to wear. Amazon deals. These are different Amazon deals that you can get specific, like if you want to sign up for any of the Amazon services. If you sign up with these, then it helps the channel out as well. I've done a lot of affiliate links over the last 4 years, and this really helps out the channel. But if you don't want to purchase a service, but you are going to buy something off Amazon, if you would just start out by clicking this link right here, Shop, Connect, and Enjoy. This button right here sends you straight to Amazon. And then whatever you buy on Amazon will give me a finder's fee. Okay, so that's awesome. If you go to gear on my website, these are idea boards on Amazon. So if I do a YouTube video, this is my first-person view FPV quads. So these are different little things that I've found for products that I'm about to review on this channel. I haven't reviewed any of them yet, but there's DJI goggles. This is this little freestyle quad, Tiny Hawk 2 freestyle. I haven't put the Mobula 7 on here yet. Taranis X Lite, that's the remote controller that I have. These are different batteries. These are the blades that go with the Tiny Hawk. Here's VR 180 rig. I'm putting something together, or this is a rig that I put together for a guy on Amazon of just, 3D spatial audio, different VR 180 headsets, and then these are all the different little pieces to put together a VR 180 rig. Skyview, this is what Stephen Drones uses to fly his FPV on his Unique. Here's Oculus Quest. This is Nacho. He got his son Oculus Quest for Christmas, and so here's a lot of different like face pads and cases and stuff like that on Amazon. I'm a thrifty guy, so I go around and I try to find the best deals that I can find and pass on the savings to you guys. Insta360 These are just a bunch of different little gadgets and gizmos that's not a thing. But this, like, here's an example of a bag that I bought for my Insta360 R because it has all these little compartments for different little pieces, and it's a modular camera, so I thought it was a great bag for it. So yeah, there's that. And the other thing that I wanted to show you, if you hit join the club, you're going to go to the club. This is a community that I've built for Sean Hyde Studios, drones, 360 cameras, live streaming, all the good stuff. This is just where we can talk about it. If you don't feel comfortable talking here on the chat, I do want to say that now we've got 15 members now, and our newest member is Douglas Agee, or Agee. Douglas Agee. I don't know how to say that, but that's our newest member. But check it out, y'all. I've got 2 new posts that I haven't even seen. Should we look at them live? Let's check it out. All right, we've got something on here from a completely different language. So I'm not going to show that because I don't know what that means. I'll have to go back and translate that and see what that means. And then Eat More Possum. He's got a bunch of information on here. I really wanted to get that next, but I don't feel like I'm skilled enough to fly that yet. This is a mount that Brent put together for his to take out the Jello. It's pretty awesome. There's his beautiful SMO 4K. All right. Broke the UV filter, broke the ND filter, ripped the power cord in half, and broke a PETG mount. But the SMO 4K still works. So that's the kind of stuff we talk about on the club. Just, you know, a bunch of people that have the same interests, just hanging out and chatting. It's a bit like Facebook, but it's old school. It's a PHP BB forum bulletin board. So that is that. So Nacho has a great idea for an FPV shirt. I kill batteries. What's your superpower? I think that's a great idea for an FPV shirt. I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to be working on that this week. Eat More Possum says, does Amazon sell small rig stuff? Everything that I've purchased from small rig has been on Amazon. I don't know if they're resellers. I don't know if they have their own store. I do know the small rig back there. I actually bought it from Insta360, not Instagram. I bought it from Insta360's website. Like when I purchased the camera, I purchased that accessory at the same time. But they have Insta360 has a store on Amazon, so you can buy all kinds of cages and rigs and all kinds of stuff. Aura Pilot says 0 is that diatone. I don't know what that means. Does anybody know what that means? Oh, he hasn't belonged to a BB board since the 80s. Yep. I'm definitely using a old school forum technology, but from what I looked at, it's still the best. It does everything that I wanted it to do. I wanted a place where people can. Okay, I'm bouncing around. I want to get this out of the way. Sean, what happened with the Insta360 One X2 the other day on my channel? So if you guys watched the live feed from my camera, I was actually live using the Insta360 app on my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I don't even know what the name of my phone is right now. And so I went walking, and I walked to an area that was not, that I didn't have a very good connection. So it was good by my house, but then it got kind of choppy once I was about a mile away, and then it just died. But I went back and watched it. I thought it was really cool that you could look around, but I wasn't happy with, I will never be happy with 360-degree video at a 1080 resolution. So I'm going to try reframe next. There's another option to reframe, but that didn't work out because I started the video in a location, the location where I lost connection at. So I didn't know that I didn't have connection to you guys until after I got back home. But I'll try to do a reframe live and see what that quality looks like. I have a feeling that's going to be a way better video, but we'll try that. So the copper looked like a diatone build. I don't know what you mean by diatone. Is that a company? If it's a company, this is iFlight that built this. This one is a Happy model. And this one is an Emax. Is that what you're asking? I'm completely new to the FPV world, so forgive me if I don't know exactly what I know what the word diatone means, but I'm not sure if that's a company or with the camera bracket. If it was the one with the camera bracket, if it's that one, this is iFlight Bumblebee. Let's look that up because I really want to talk about what you're talking about. Okay, I know what he's talking about. So this is a diatone bind and flight take hand. So yeah, it does look very similar to the diatone. And I actually looked at this drone. And I looked at some even cheaper ones that were like they're like do-it-yourself kits that you put together. But I'm not there yet. So Stephen Jones says it was good until I went off road. Yeah. I think I was just surrounded by so many trees. You would think I'd have better reception there because I wasn't competing with all the houses, but there might not have been a very, very good reception there. Eat More Possum says it was a Geoprick rocket. True, it does look like a diatone from that view. Oh, you're talking to Possum. Got it. So Nacho said, how's the electric bike? Which one is it again? I'll show you. So my e-bike is this guy right here. Swagtron EB8 Outlaw Fat Tire Bike. The reason I got it is because the thing's made out of solid steel. It's super heavy. But it has some really good, it's got a shock absorber here and a shock absorber back there. It's got these big fat tires. And it can really hold my weight very well. I love the bike. It's awesome. And on the website, it's currently unavailable. So, Diatone Roma. So I don't know how to say your name. Aura Pilot. So welcome to the channel, by the way. I love it when new people show up. Diatone Find and Fly Roma is what looks like Eat More Possums rocket. And it was mentioned that it has vibration issues. I really think this is a great idea, though. This like bumper in the front of the drones. I noticed that on my I fly the simulator liftoff, and I really like that design. Association of Unmanned Remote Aerospace. So I'm just going to call you Aura, Aura Pilot, because it's an acronym. Cool. So that's about all I really have to talk about tonight. What do you guys want to talk about now? I'm getting tired, and I'm not liking what's going on right here. I need a haircut. I mean, I just got a haircut, but I don't know. I need to stop talking about myself. So what we are going to do this week, I know this is a show all about drones, but what we're going to do this week is we are going to take a lot of footage with the Insta360 ONE X2. I did a live test. I want to do another live test with just the I forgot the name of it. The Reframe Live. But we're going to go walk around. I have an insane pole. I can show you that. What's up, Al? Al asks, what do I think DJI has in store for 2021? I'm not sure the state of DJI. I know they're the world leader in consumer drones. I don't know if they'll ever come out with a new Phantom. I mean, they're on Phantom 4. But there's probably like 10 different versions of the Phantom 4. They just keep hashing out that drone. I really hope the DJI FPV drone is a thing. I've seen a lot of rumors. I've seen some pictures with DJI being on America's do not buy list, or I don't remember what the name of that list they got put on. But there's been a lot of issues there, so I'm not sure. But I really hope it is a DJI drone, DJI FPV drone that utilizes the new version 2 goggles. I have version 1 goggles sitting back there, right there. But they just came out with version 2 goggles. But the version 2 goggles don't look anything like, or they don't look any different than the version 1 goggles. They're just kind of internal updates. So it's kind of like whenever, the DJI Mavic Pro came out with a platinum version, and all they did was put a different color of paint on it and made better blades. That's not an improvement. That's just like we fixed some things. So I'm hoping that's not at all what they did with the version 2 goggles. But if they made version 2 goggles, I'm hoping that was they put that in motion to bring out an FPV drone. And if they put out an FPV drone, I hope the batteries are as simple as the air unit is to bind. Like binding like the air unit in my iFlight Bumblebee, you hold down the button on both devices, just like hooking a controller up to your Xbox. That is how things should talk to each other. So that's why I love Mac over PC, because on a Mac, things just work with each other. When you build the software and you build the hardware, then you can make them talk seamlessly. But like this FPV world that I'm new to, anybody can make a flight controller and then a battery and then different motors. And it's like building a PC. You can build it with whatever components you want, and I think a lot of people love that about it. But it's almost like I spent a lot of time talking to beginners and using my experience to make things easier on them. That's kind of the goal of my YouTube channel. And with FPV, it's like I'm almost getting frustrated to the point of quitting. And I've been flying drones for years, right? So I can't imagine anybody that doesn't know what they're doing at all. Like, I at least know half of it. I know how to fly. I know how to point, and I know how to fly away from me. I know how to turn around and fly back to myself. Like, I've had that down. So I'm kind of starting with one foot in the water. But man, like, even trying to figure out what kind of controller I had took a week. I bought the FR Sky controller, and then I had to figure out that, I'm in America, so I use FCC. But all these people were like, depending on what kind of receiver you had. Well, I have a receiver that can do a lot of things. And then mode 1 and mode 2, and there's just all this stuff that it's like another language you have to learn. Yep, the DJI FPV drone is what I'm really excited about. I didn't know you had an electric bike. That's cool. Are we going to get a new Phantom or Mavic Pro 3? So, trying to think of when drones came out. So, when I started it with the Phantom 3. And then after that, the Mavic Pro came out. And then after the Mavic Pro, the Spark came out. And I can't remember if the Phantom 4 or the Mavic Air came out next. They might have both come out at the same time. I feel like the Phantom Pro 4, I'm getting them confused now. But so they came out with a bunch of small foldable drones before they came out with a new Phantom. So what they've done since the Phantom 4, they've really just kind of updated the Phantom 4 a couple times. Inspire 2 came out in that time. But so since the Phantom 4, we've had a Spark. We've had a Mavic Mini, Mavic Air 2, Mavic Pro 2, or Mavic 2 Pro, Mavic 2 Zoom. They're due for another Phantom, I would think. But they just came out with an updated version of the Phantom for last year. So I don't know. Mavic Pro 3 is probably due for the next foldable drone, unless they're focusing on FPV. But I feel like the FPV world is completely different than the photography drone world. So I mean, if they go on the same path that they've been going on, they did away with the Osmos. They've got, you know, the Pocket and the Osmo Pocket and the Pocket 2 are out. So they've got that market. Maybe another action camera. I mean, they're kind of due for a new action camera. I feel like everybody's kind of forgotten about that one. And yeah, it's hard to predict. You know, they've got the and the gimbals. Like, I don't think they need to come out with a new gimbal anytime soon. Because the Ronins are kind of up to date. So yeah, I think we're due for a Mavic 3, and but I'm not sure what they're going to do on the Mavic 3. What they can improve? Probably 6K camera or 8K camera, to bring it up to Autel. That Autel Evo Pro back there does 6K with a 1-inch sensor. So I think DJI at least needs to compete with that. And maybe, you know, use some of the Skydio. Like, we've got APAS and we've got, you know, the sensors all around the drone. Seems like we keep adding sensors all around the body of the drones to keep them from hitting stuff. So I don't know how much more they can do with that. I would love for them to put a 360-degree drone out, but nobody. I've been screaming that for years, but nobody wants to do that. I feel like Insta360 is close, but it's still kind of wobbly and jello, and so that was a lot of rambling to answer that question. But welcome, Al, to the channel. Welcome to the chat. Glad you're here. So Eat More Possum says, yeah, seems the way we way overdue for a Mavic 3. New Phantom would be sweet, but very unlikely. Yeah, I also agree with this because I think the Phantom 4 is pretty good. Like, they keep improving the Phantom 4. Eat More Possum says, but smart batteries are more expensive. I disagree with that completely. The reason I say that is because I've spent $75 on batteries that lasted me one flight because I didn't know what I was doing. I've had my Paradenofi. I've got 2 batteries for it, and I've got over 100 flights with that Paradenofi. And I've been using the same 2 batteries that entire time because the intelligence in the battery keeps me from making stupid mistakes. So a battery that shoves into its spot and comes out, and then you plug it up to a charger, is a lot more intelligent and a lot more, you know, if they've got the smarts in the charger in the drone, or the intelligence in the battery to balance itself, and like self-balancing batteries with safeguards in them so that you can't discharge them too much or any of that kind of stuff. All of the mistakes that I'm making is because I feel like I'm going back into the Stone Age charging LiPos. And maybe in a week I'll never make that mistake again and we'll be all good. But in 2021, I feel like our batteries should be a little bit smarter than that. I've got a phone that I plug into the wall every night. Whether it's discharged or fully charged or anything like that, my phone has the intelligence to know when it's going to be fully charged, to know when to stop charging because it's full, all that stuff. So even though smart batteries are more expensive, in the long run, if I can buy 4 batteries and those 4 batteries will last me several years, then I'm good. But if like if I go through a battery a month, even if I go through one battery a month, it's going to cost a lot more in the long run than me buying a bunch of batteries. Good point. Longevity and durability make up for the dumb battery replacement costs. Yep. And maybe that's just me being bitter right now. I feel like I'm a little bitter because of the money that I've wasted on batteries. And I bought this drone. I did a lot of research when I bought this drone, saying, I'd have more flight time if I ran a 6S system. The batteries the motors would run better and all this kind of stuff. So I bought a 6S drone, a 6 serial batteries. Thinking that I was buying a better drone, but all I really did was buy a drone that has really expensive LiPo batteries. So I could buy 2 packs for $20 if I had 4S batteries, but instead I bought the 6S. Maybe I'll just start flying 4S batteries until I get the hang of it. Maybe we should try that. Sayora Pilot says, it's the same as when the internet and PC started. Now is the time to get into it. Well, I'm getting into it, and I'm trying not to get frustrated. Read FPV Flight Dynamics by Christian M. Balash. I'm going to butcher people's names. Chapter on batteries. It will save you hundreds. All right. That is some good advice. I will check that out. There. That's the whole conversation. Well, it's 8 p.m. This is usually when we cut things off. I want to thank everybody for coming in and enjoying the live stream, hanging out, and we had a plethora of information. And I missed some of that conversation, so I'll have to go back and see it. But I want to thank all the people that came in to join the chat. So we had Stephen Drones in the house. We had Eat More Possum. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Nacho Rolling was in the house. Aora Pilot was in the house. Thank you for coming and hanging out on the channel. I really appreciate all the insight that you gave. And Al Golis was here. So I'm sure I butchered people's names. People butcher my name all the time. I don't know how you get Sean Ide wrong. But people call me Sean Idle all the time. So yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hope you enjoyed this this chat tonight. Don't forget to join the club over at SeanIdeStudios.com. I'd love for you guys to put links in there to the FPV Bible to, just join the chat and make topics yourself in there. And I've tried to start the ball rolling a little bit, but if there's a section in the club that you would like to see in there, let me know, and I'll add it. So, but yeah, thank you all for coming and hanging out. And I've said that already so many times, that means I'm rambling, and it's time for an outro. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell for notifications, so when I put out more live streams, videos on drones, action cameras, 360 cameras, and hopefully we'll get this live stream thing down, and I will be FPVing by the end of the year. That's the goal. Whenever spring hits and I can go outside a lot, we are going to be flying a lot is the plan. But yeah, have a wonderful night, y'all. Peace out.